Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. I hope all of you are doing well, preparing well for the upcoming prelims examination with your full G and enthusiasm. This is a video session on daily news and editorial analysis dated 27th of January. Through this video session, I'll be discussing the important news and editorial both from the Hindu and Indian Express. The analysis and the discussion of the news will specifically cater the aspirant of civil services examination, state public service commission examination, and various one-day examination conducted across the country. So the analysis is specifically meant from the examination perspective and its relevance in the current trend. So let's get started. First, I'll give you the highlights of the news. Then we'll proceed with the in-depth analysis of each and every news one by one. So starting with the highlights. The first important news is about the India's France defense ties. Government of India and even the government of France is looking forward to deepen their defense ties. We'll see the detail about the recent agreement that was there between both countries. The second important news talks about the rare golden tiger that was snapped in Kaziranga. Again, something very important. Last it was spotted 3 years ago. Third important news talks about the International Court of Justice, where it has cautioned Israel that it must take all measures to prevent the part of genocides acts which is going in the Gaza region. The second last news talks about the Chandrayaan that has actually helped the Japan in terms of coming up with their moon lander pinpointed landing, and both countries are sharing their state-of-art technology and technology transfer, helping both countries mutually. And I'll be concluding the session with an editorial from Indian Express that talks about the quality of growth. So let's get started with the in-depth analysis of the news one by one. And starting with the first news of the day, that is deepening India and France defense ties. India recently celebrated its 75th Republic Day, and on that Republic Day, the President of France was a chief guest. So India celebrated 75th Republic Day. The President of France, Emmanuel Macron, was the chief guest. So in this visit, he had made some of the agreement with India. So France and India have agreed to adopt the Defense Industrial Roadmap. So DIR was the main focus, and even other opportunities that can be explored between both countries was discussed to a larger end. There are different kind of memorandum of understanding that were signed in different area. The focus was mainly was on the part of the defense, right, where the defense was a prime focus, and both countries looked mutually to strengthen the part of defense cooperations. So if you look at the focus area precisely where India and France has made a collaboration, so first and foremost, it was regarding the Defense Industrial Partnership. I'll better address it with DIP, that is Defense Industrial Partnership Roadmap, and even both countries, that is India and France, have looked forward जहाँ पे कोर डेवलपमेंट और कोर प्रोडक्शंस पे ध्यान की गई है, मिलिट्री के हार्डवेयर पे, प्लेटफॉर्म पे, एंड इवन टेक्नोलॉजी ट्रांसफर. इफ यू लुक एट द पार्ट ऑफ टीओटी विच इज देयर, द पार्ट ऑफ फ्रांस इज एक्चुअली हेल्पिंग इंडिया, राइट, चाहे वो स्पेस की बात हो, लैंड वॉरफेयर की बात हो, साइबर सिक्योरिटी की बात हो, और इवन फॉर द आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस दे हैव बीन ऑलवेज हेल्पिंग आउट, राइट. Now we have a deepened relationship, but इस टाइम में इंडिया ने और चीज़ों को एक्सप्लोर करने की कोशिश की है. We have been exploring on the part where India is actually moving towards Make in India initiative and Atmanirbhar Bharat. Right? These are the main, prime motive of the government of India, with collaborations where technology transfer play a very crucial role. Now both sides have also agreed on the defense space partnership, जहाँ पे collaborations की गई है suitable space suitable awareness को लेकर के, and even the MOU, the memorandum of understanding that was signed between India and France was there on the part of satellite launches. Along with that, partnership were there on the energy sector. Second, we have the part of agreement on the digital health. Third, we were exploring the part of agriculture and to a larger extent education. एंड इवन एजुकेशन की अगर बात करें, एजुकेशन में फ्रांस ने वीज़ा के लिए भी चीज़ों को बहुत हद तक फ्लेक्सिबल बनाया है, सो दैट मोस्ट स्टूडेंट कैन रीच आउट टू फ्रांस, एंड इवन दे हैव इंश्योर्ड दैट इंग्लिश एज अ मीडियम ऑफ लैंग्वेज फॉर द स्टूडेंट कमिंग फ्रॉम इंडिया. सो ये कुछ रिसेंट एजुकेशनल चेंजेस हैं जहाँ पे फ्रांस ने कोशिश की. दे आर एक्चुअली लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू इंक्लूड मोर इंडियन डायस्पोरा इन द फ्रांस यूनिवर्सिटीज, राइट. A joint venture of the local manufacturing and civilian helicopter was also agreed between Airbus and Tata. Now, this is to ensure जो civilian helicopters है, it can be there on the part of defense as well, and even for the civilian helicopter which is used widely by the government of India, various entities will be actually built up using a collaborations between Airbus and Tata Alliance, or you can say better Tata. Now, the civil nuclear corporations. This is again one of the focal point which was which was about to discuss in this meeting, but there was not more impetus that was put in. But if you're writing specifically in mains examination, you can highlight this point that a collaboration has already been there with India and France with regards to the Jaitapur power plant which is there in Maharashtra. तो इसको लेकर के बहुत ज़्यादा कुछ डिटेल में भी डिस्कशन नहीं हुई है. दिस वाज एक्चुअली साउंड इन 2009 में इस एग्रीमेंट को साइन की गई है, एंड देयर इज फर्दर एडवांसमेंट व्हिच इज लुक्ड फ्रॉम द फ्रांस साइड. लेट्स सी हाउ फर्दर डेवलपमेंट इज गोइंग टू बी देयर. And even the France contingent parade that have participated in 26th of January 2024, a French consignment was actually made a parade on Kartavya Path. इससे पहले इंडिया की 269 मेंबर की जो इंडियन कंसाइनमेंट थी, उन्होंने वहाँ की ब्रिस्टाइल डे जो वहाँ परेड होती है फ्रांस में, वहाँ पे पार्टिसिपेट किया. सो दिस ऑल्सो मेक अ म्यूचुअल कनेक्ट बिटवीन बोथ इंडिया एंड फ्रांस. Now moving ahead with other news, a rare golden tiger was snapped in Kaziranga. Now that's something very important for an ecosystem, specifically in Assam, where after a gap of 3 year के interval के बाद वहाँ पे रेयर टाइगर की जो वैरायटी है, स्पेसिफिकली द रेयर गोल्डन टाइगर, was spotted in the Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve. Now, wildlife photographer was from the Coimbatore, and he has actually spot this part. इससे पहले 3 साल पहले spot की गई थी. But the point to be noted that we can make out that some variety or some part of other species of this golden tiger must be there. We need to explore things more. Now, an unusual type of phenotype is there. If you talk about the golden tiger, इसकी inhabited की अगर बात करें काजीरंगा को लेकर के, the total number of the part of tiger is not yet confirmed because the survey has not yet been done. The distinctive golden coat की अगर बात करें specifically इस tiger को लेकर के, ये एक अलग genetic variant है which has been there, जहाँ पे back clearing, if you look at the tiger part, there is a black lining, there is a black clearing which is there. Now this tiger lack on the black clearing, it is more of a golden shot. Right? And however, the typical 3 color are visible on this, that is black, orange and white. This black is not dominated as compared to the normal tiger, that the reason being it is known as a golden tiger. However, the golden tiger lacks the black color, जिस वजह से इसकी fading appearance होती है और एक unique golden hue color में appear होती है. The golden tiger is known as a strawberry tiger and even the tabby tiger due to its magnificent color. Now, if you look at the part, this information is pretty relevant for the prelims examination. There can be a direct question asking about the different name, so you do not need to get confused with this name. There are 2 other synonyms name which is used. The one is the strawberry tiger and other is the tabby tigers. Now, if you look at the other details of the tiger reserve in the country, this is a precise map which will help you to, even for the prelims examination, UPSC tend to ask various questions with regards to tiger reserve. So the one is there in the Jim Corbett, then we have Manas in Assam, Dua Tiger Reserve, Sundarban Tiger Reserve, Simplipar in Odisha, then Indravati in Tiger, Annamalai in Tiger Reserve, Periyar, Bandipur, Tadoba, that is Bangra Tiger Reserve and Ranthambore Tiger Reserve. So these are the major and well-known tiger reserve. You need to know the state. अगर वहाँ से कोई river pass हो रही है उसके बारे में आपको पता होना चाहिए. If there any mountain, then you need to know. There can be here and there question asking in terms of the prelims examination. Now, International Court of Justice has ordered to prevent the act of genocide in Gaza. ICJ, International Court of Justice, has actually ruled and asked the Israel to prevent the genocide act in Gaza and allow humanitarian aid in the territory. We have seen the worst condition going specifically in the Gaza Strip region, right? Gaza Strip, I have already made a video on the news in focus. You can watch that. Specifically the reason there, the humanitarian crisis is worst. Now, to an extent, I have also made a discussion on detail about how the South Africa has dragged Israel to the International Court of Justice. There was a special video which was published recently. If you have not watched it, do check it out. तो वहाँ पे आपको बताऊँ ह्यूमैनिटेरियन क्राइसिस काफ़ी ज़्यादा है. इजराइल ने they have actually made the part of the power connections, water connections, the supply of the basic requirement, desired needs, and even the part of medicines that was required was actually cut off by Israel as a retaliation measures. Now let's see how things will work, because after the ruling of the International Court of Justice, Israel will have to comply on the part of the directives given by the international court. Now, what was the directive that was given by the ICZ? अगर इंटरनेशनल कोर्ट ऑफ जस्टिस की अगर बात करें, क्या क्या चीज़ें बताई गई है? फर्स्ट, दे हैव कॉल्ड टू टेक प्रिवेंटिव मेजर्स, जहाँ पे इस तरह की जो खास करके जेनोसाइड्स एक्टिविटीज़ हैं उस पर डिटोरेशन हो. Israel should take efforts that they should decrease the part of overall humanitarian crisis that is emerging. The court has asked to take it with immediate effect and even urgently need for the basic services on humanitarian assistance. The case was brought by the South Africa, which accused Israel on breaching the UN Genocide Convention. I have made a detailed discussion on what UN Genocide Convention is all about, how it is helping. So you can refer to that video. It will give an in-depth analysis of this specific topic. Now, moving ahead about the Israel election, see, definitely if the ruling is coming from the International Court of Justice, it's a bit obvious that a country will have a reactions to it. The Prime Minister of Israel has said कि जो charges हैं, it is only false. This is what the superficially defending statement which is coming from any head of the state. So Israel stressed that heading of the part of acting on the self, they are actually making a self-defense. They're not retaliating. They are just attacking. I mean, जो first attack start की गई थी हमास के द्वारा, that was on October 7, 2023. So they are only just trying to figure it out, the militant group which is there. But due to this, there are a lot of humanitarian crisis which is emerging in the region of Gaza. The people civilian has also been encouraged, and even there are insufficient to protect the right of Palestine. So definitely a measures need to be there. No, not only the International Court of Justice, there have been several other important organizations which has been talking about the humanitarian crisis emerging in the Palestine and Gaza Strip region. Now South Africa ने Israel को International Court of Justice तक track किया है. Why? Because of the allegation of the genocide. So genocide was actually the main allegations which was there, and South Africa has accused of committing genocide to the military campaign in the Gaza. South Africa has sought the provincial measures जहाँ पे they have actually halted कि हमास की जो अटैक हुई उसके बाद इन्होंने इस तरह के retaliation measures लिए हैं. South Africa has also accused that the genocidal act were intended to have a destruction substantial part, and even national racial ethical group को काफी ज़्यादा इससे impact हुई है. So let's see whether after the judgment coming from the National Court of Justice, how Israel is going to react on that. Now moving ahead, Chandrayaan-8's precision moon landing on Zaka, something very important which will deepen the part of relationship between India and Japan to a larger extent, specifically in the space sector. So Japan has achieved a highly accurate moon landing coming to its target according to the space agencies that were reported. And even the country's moon sniper that was successfully down, the lunar mission making Japan the fifth nations to accomplish. After India, US, Russia, China, Japan has become the fifth country to do so. This is again important and vital information for the prelims examination. Now, landing details की अगर बात करें, Japan has been following United States, Soviet Union, China, and India because these countries have already made a successful landing to the moon. And SLIM, this is what a specific name given to this particular mission, or you can call it Moon Sniper, which aims to have a part of lightweight spacecraft, passenger with the size of a vehicle, and they will explore further the part of moon and the part of the space. The craft were actually using a pinpoint technology premises to be controlled with any previous or moon landing. The project was first fruit of 2 decades work on the precision technology by Zaka, right? Now, what is the aim and goal of this initiative or the technological development of the space sector that Japan is actually exploring? So the mission main aim is to have a testing of the technology that will allow the moon mission to land wherever we want to, and rather than the easy landing that is possible, and this is accordingly and with assistance from ISRO. So if it is asked, ISRO मैं क्यों बोल रहा हूँ क्योंकि चंद्रयान के थ्रू ही इसमें मदद दी गई है, right? Now the other part is the landing was successful because the spacecraft has been the clue moon, including the analysis of the specific cameras that will explore the part of minerals, and SLIM is equipped with the pad cushions that will have an aiming in the Siloy crater that is region covered with the volcanic rocks. So definitely any mission that is going to moon will have a lot of other exposure, and not only Japan, but it will benefit entire the globe. I mean, many other developed countries will also be mutually benefited with the findings that will be coming. Moving ahead with the editorial for the day, the quality of growth. I have not taken the picture of the actual images which was in the newspaper due to some server issue. I was unable to download it. So I've taken the clipping from here. So you can check out the newspaper pages from there itself. So this article specifically talk about the quality of growth. So we'll see how the upcoming budget which is there is going to be there, और क्या क्या इसमें suggestions दिए गए हैं. We'll look into that. So we'll see first the background of this news article. Government के क्या priorities है? 5 priorities has been highlighted. I'll discuss one by one each of them and we'll conclude with the session. So the upcoming budget, I mean, it's set to be presented. There is a lot of the part of economic stability, the part of the part of the forecast which is there when it comes to of economic stability. There are a lot of speculations coming from the government, and even the part of GDP growth which is there. If you look at the GDP, India will be witnessing the part of upcoming Lok Sabha elections. So this time it is very important for the government to forecast the GDP, monitoring the inflations, narrowing the current account deficit. अगर CAT की बात करें, this has to be monitored with the part of health, the part of healthy corporate result, and even the part of positive environment coming from the overall development. However, there are weak consumption's demand की अगर बात करें, if you look at the CD, the consumption's demand has been pretty low, and even the private investment, global economic uncertainties continue. It has been argued that limited investment हुई है. FDI की भी अगर बात करें, the inflows as anticipated was not there, giving the reason that national elections are there. There are a lot of FPIs, other foreign portfolio investments की बात करें, so they are not at this time. There are a lot of angel investors that they're running out. I mean, the FPIs are not that great. After the elections are concluded, you'll definitely see the pool of monies and FDI coming to India if there is a majority of government. This has been, I mean, there's no reason, there's no study to that, there's no theoretical backing to this, but this is the notion. When there is a government with a complete mandate, there is an inflow of the money in FDI. So we'll see how the things will take place. Now, government के कुछ priorities हैं with in terms of focus and policies. First should be there. The first is regarding the FC, that is the fiscal consolidations. यहाँ पे बात की गई है that the debt to the government GDP is 82%, which is again on the higher side, with 17% total expenditure going to the interest payment. Now, this is again a vital information for mains examination and for the personality test. You can use this focal point. The limited room exists in increasing the part of the productive government spending, which emphasizes the need for the continual fiscal consolidation. The government is expected to meet the fiscal deficit target, and even अगर बात करें direct collections को लेकर के, RBI ने भी कहा है that the part of the collections will be higher, but again the fluctuation still will be always exist. Now, the second is the government has been emphasizing on the capital expenditure drive. Post-pandemic, we have seen the progress. अगर बात करें overall sector-wise, even for the IIP and other MSME sector, we have seen a marginal progress, right? The government has planned the capex to GDP ratio that is 3.4%. In the last 2 years, interest-free loan was there for 2.3 trillion, and it was allocated with the state government for capital expenditure. Now, with a strong impact on the capex, the focus is expected to persistent. Now, aiming 10% increase to approximate 11 trillion, which will have continued emphasis on the infrastructure part. Now, third, the need to spur consumptions. जरूरत है कि जो consumptions pattern उनको बढ़ाया जाए. So the consumptions reliable will be definitely important because low income group में भी ये देखी गई है कि जो consumption pattern है वो weak है, and even for the part despite the fact the robust GDP growth was close to 7.3% on certain quarters, which is pretty good. Now the consumption is going to be is only 4.4%. Now even the growth is higher side, but numbers जो है consumption pattern के वो low है. While the government focuses on the capex-led growth, urgently need to have on the stimulation of the domestic demand, specifically for the poor extent and the other external demand which is emerging. So they need to have a fine-tuned balance. They need to have a fine-tuned balance to ensure that things is working and put in right place. Despite the physical limitations, some suggestions are also there. जहाँ पे पेट्रोल और डीजल के प्राइसेस को लेकर के भी बात की गई है. Certain inflations have maintained a physical balance as well. Now, fourth, that is spending on the human capital. It is the foremost part because India at this juncture where we have huge demographic dividend, we need to invest on the part of human capital. Large workforce है हमारे पास, उस demographic dividend को हमें potentially use करनी है, चाहे वो healthcare के sector हो, education से, and even for skilling of the youth. Currently, the spending है that is only 8.3%. A vital information. You can take a note of this. And for the current for 2017-18 it was only 6.7%. तो current में 8.3 है. However, it lagged behind the European countries where the spending is on one-fifth of the GDP. Now, boosting the spending with the vital the part of the population have a heavy reliance on the government support, because for human capital, definitely government aid is important, because without which the policies, without the policy, without the adequate financial backing, these are not going to be successful. Now, last but not the least is the fifth focus point on agriculture and rural sector, because until and unless our rural sector is well developed, the progress and the part of prosperity will not be there. So, rural account for 65% of the total population. They heavily rely on agriculture. अगर बात करें rural area की, तो इनकी reliance agriculture पे काफी ज़्यादा है, but significantly low productivity है compared to country like China. If you look at China and United States, we have a low productivity. Now, in rural economy, we have seen that technology improving, the transition workforce, manufacturing and service sector are very crucial. So we need to also ensure that these minute sector are also getting advanced technology, so they are part of overall the marginal growth which is there should be enlarged, and जो overall growth है वो ज़्यादा की तरफ हो. Addressing the rural health is imperative for sustainable and even the overall growth for the country. Now, this is how the things will work. It will ensure that things is put in right place, and with the proper budget and capital allocations, we'll see that these sectors might grow and have a proper livelihood and sustainability options for the community which reside about 65%. Now, moving ahead with the conclusions part, apart from the broader part, we see the part of other warrant and attention which is there. For instances, we need to create a good environment जहाँ पे business grow हो, FDI की overall flow हो, FPI should be there. Post elections, it definitely going to be increased, and improve the part of marginal groups. This will significantly matter to consider the well planning budget, and it's now to focus on the quality growth ताकि एक ओवरऑल सस्टेनेबल ग्रोथ गुड फॉर इकोनॉमी and even sustainable environment growth should be there. Government has come up with the policy which is sustainable in nature. The policies are helping the marginalized section, and even for the betterment of the society, there are a lot of other scaling policies that is working. So they need to have an umbrella policy which cater each and every part of the society, helping economy and also developing the human skills. Now, moving ahead with the answers and the part of discussion for yet the part of the last discussion that we had in our daily news and editorial analysis. For last session, the correct option is D. You can check out for the correct option what you have marked. You can read the explanation from here. The second question, the correct option is C, that both the statement are correct. If you have marked well enough, if not, you can read out the complete explanation about the transgenic mustard hybrid DMH11. Now, today's MCQ questions for the day. The first question is about the part of Pradhan Mantri Suryodaya Yojana. It involved the system of rooftop residential consumers. Solar power is a major share of the country's renewable capacity, about 180 gigawatt. The term of the solar energy capacity, Gujarat tops in terms of 18.7. So you have to check for the correct option. To participate in the question answer, you have to simply write question number 1 followed by your correct answer, and you can drop down your answer in the comment section down below. For the second question of the day is about with reference to Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs jointly monitor the FCRA, और ये कंपलसरी है कि जो रजिस्ट्रेशंस हैं वो की जाए एनजीओ के लिए ताकि वो फॉरेन फंड रिसीव करे सब्जेक्ट टू रिन्यूएबल आफ्टर एवरी 5 years. दिस इज एडिशनल इन्फॉर्मेशन आई एम गिविंग. तो आप यहाँ पे इस क्वेश्चन को आंसर करने के लिए अपने जो नॉलेज बेस है उसका यूज करें. यू कैन हैव अ लॉजिकल रीजनिंग टू कम अप विद द आंसर्स, एंड यू कैन ड्रॉप डाउन योर आंसर इन द कमेंट सेक्शन डाउन बिलो. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, queries about test series, admissions, new programs, new admissions to the courses, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being. Stay connected.